Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Francophile Reader. So, after this video we only have one more video left before we have finished Notre-Dame de Paris by Victor Hugo. So today I will be talking about Book 10. I have even less to talk about this week than I've had to talk about in previous weeks, so this may be a short video, but I wanted to talk about my overall reaction to the violence in Book 10. So I think that this book has had more violence than any of the other books in Hugo's novel. There is an attempted rape. Claude Frollo attempts to rape Esmeralda, and the way that it's written, I thought it was quite evocative in the way that this attempted rape was written. I was like, wow, Hugo really went there. And then there is Quasimodo, who himself, throughout the book he has been presented as this very sympathetic figure. And he is still sympathetic, but he is not afraid of killing people. I mean, he kills quite a few people. There is an entire mob of individuals from the Cour des Miracles, all of the Egyptians and then their friends. They have decided they want to save Esmeralda from the cathedral, and they start storming the cathedral. Now, they're not innocent because, as Hugo points out, they want the wealth in the cathedral. They want to pillage the church. But still, Quasimodo is quite violent. He throws molten metal on people. There's fire that's thrown on them. He pushes ladders away and people fall to their death, including Jean Frollo, whom he throws out of the church. I was just really struck by how violent Quasimodo is. Whereas Claude Frollo's violence, while it was shocking to me, and I guess because this is a 19th century novel, I didn't expect it to be as evocative as it was, it is consistent with what Frollo has been the entire time, which is this demonic figure, this figure who has been possessed by Satan, and how he has projected his inner turmoil onto Esmeralda, that he is eaten up by his desire for her, and that he will do anything to get her, and if he can't get her, he wants her dead. There I expected him to be violent and to be really sinister. But with Quasimodo, I think just because he is presented as someone who is caring and, he's human, as he says, so he is, of course, very, he is in love with Esmeralda, and he cares for her because she was the only person who cared for him when he was in most need. I think Hugo attributes his behavior to the fact that he's deaf, so that he doesn't really know what's going on. But even so, I was really surprised by Quasimodo's violence. And then finally we have Louis of France, who is associated with the Bastille, which was a prison. Of course, the storming of the Bastille begins the French Revolution in 1789. And here again, Louis of France is a figure of corrupt justice. He's someone who is very keen on helping executioners and, funding executions, but he's not interested in giving money to the people who work in his household. He's presented as the king, but according to the footnotes, he would be, Louis of France would be the Duke of Orleans, the brother of Charles VI. And then some other details about him are also incorrect. But he's complaining about how much money is being spent to pay those who are servants in his household. But he is more than okay in spending money to create prisons and to, these really horrible cells, and to, give money to the executioner to buy a nice axe. So again, the corruption of the justice system is on display. The mob from the Cour des Miracles is, in a way, a reflection of the justice system in France. I'm reminded of Pierre Gringoire's trial, where he is about to be hanged, and then La Esmeralda saves him by claiming that she will marry him. And there's this broken jug, and the broken jug is a symbol that they are married. But of course they're not really married. It was just her way of saving Gringoire from execution. And then you have Esmeralda, who is saved from execution, and her trial is just as ridiculous as the trial that the fools put on. So Hugo is making this parallel between the justice system in France and the justice system among fools. The carnivalesque element of Truffaut's court is, in actuality, what the French justice system is in the late 15th century. The Court of Miracles is actually a mise en abîme in French, is essentially a miniature of France. It represents the dynamics in France. I thought it was really interesting when the mob initially wants to save Esmeralda, and their goal is to save her. But then you see how they're also driven by greed, because ultimately, when they start breaking into the church and they see all of the wealth, they completely... Saving Esmeralda is a pretense for sacking the church. So that instead of being motivated by justice, instead of being motivated by, love for Esmeralda and for her dignity, they're motivated by wealth. And this is what we see in the justice system in France. They're motivated by wealth. Maybe less Louis of France, since he's kind of living in this really minimalistic cell. But like the procurator of the king, for example, all these people are motivated by money and by power. They're not at all interested in helping those who are oppressed. They'd rather spend their money on punishing people after they have committed crimes, rather than to create a better system so that those people do not commit crimes in the first place. And yes, Hugo is trying to make that social commentary. Hugo is very famous for his work in human rights and commenting on the injustices of the criminal justice system in France, and also in his opposition to the death penalty. It appears, though, having talked to some people, that Hugo's books do tend to be very raw, as we see in this section, that his other novels are like this, and I really do want to read Hugo's other novels, particularly Les Misérables, but I do know that he has a book about some man who is about to be executed. It's like the last days of a condemned man, something like that. I really want to read more about Hugo and his writings about justice. I think it will really give an interesting perspective on this novel, and also in the history of human rights. Yeah, those are really my thoughts. I don't have a lot to talk about. Let me know if you've read this section, whether any of this was shocking to you, or if maybe you have read other things by Hugo. How does this book's presentation of violence and justice compare to the way these topics are presented in his other works? I find that making these videos has been very, very helpful for me, because this book is on my qualifying exams, which are at the end of August, and so I just go back and watch my videos. So this has been a really wonderful experience, and I really do look forward to reading more by him. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.